Welcome to this Clinical Explainer. If you have ever felt like your brain is just constantly fighting the modern world, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today we're exploring why your daily struggles might actually be a case of something medical professionals call evolutionary mismatch. I'll be sharing insights drawn from over 21 years of clinical experience treating thousands of ADHD patients. And the goal here is to help you truly understand your own biology.
It's incredibly common to feel frustrated, exhausted, or just totally defeated by the mundane tasks of daily life. But the very first thing we need to establish right now is this: your brain isn't broken. It's simply wired for a world that no longer exists. Despite all those feelings of being overwhelmed, your brain is not fundamentally flawed. To break this down, we're going to follow a really clear path today. We'll start by looking at why your brain isn't broken, dive into the hard science of mismatch, redefine what we call symptoms, explore why this reframe matters so much, and finally, talk about coming home to your true wiring.
So, let's start with part 1. Your brain isn't broken.
We have to address this right out of the gate because over 2 decades of clinical practice, I've seen a very clear pattern. Adults seeking an evaluation often carry this deep-seated fear that something is intrinsically, biologically wrong with them. But the core issue isn't a broken brain. The problem is the fit. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the brain itself. Rather, there is a severe misalignment between that brain and the highly artificial environment we force it to exist within.
Which brings us to part 2, the evolutionary mismatch science.
To really grasp this misalignment, we have to look at the sheer scale of human history. Think about it. For 288,000 years, your ancestors woke up every single morning with exactly one job: survive until tomorrow. They tracked animals, scanned the horizon for threats, made incredibly fast decisions with real consequences, and learned through physical movement. That accounts for 99.97% of human history. Compare that to agriculture, which is just 12,000 years old. The Industrial Revolution is barely 120 years behind us, and smartphones? Just 18 years. We are talking about a literal blink of an eye for modern conveniences compared to how long our brains have been developing.
Now, here is a crucial number to keep in mind: 25,000. It takes roughly 25,000 years for significant genetic adaptation to actually occur in human beings. So when you compare that 25,000-year timeline to how fast our world just changed, well, the math simply doesn't add up.
And because of that biological reality, we arrive at the clinical definition of evolutionary mismatch. Simply put, this is a condition where a brain perfectly evolved for an ancient environment is forced to operate in a drastically different modern one. Our genetics just haven't caught up. The ancient world of survival disappeared in roughly 150 years. Our world transformed overnight, but our wiring absolutely did not.
And that creates massive daily friction. Just consider the brain you were built for. An operating system perfected for urgency, novelty, immediate threats, and physical action. Now think about what we ask that exact same brain to do today. We ask it to sit still under fluorescent lights, stare at screens, and file paperwork. We are literally asking an ancient, action-oriented system to care about a spreadsheet. It predictably struggles. And it's not because you are failing the world, it is because the world is failing your wiring.
Let's move to part 3, redefining ADHD symptoms.
Once you understand this evolutionary history, it completely transforms how the medical world traditionally views ADHD. The word symptom inherently implies a disease, right? It implies that something has gone wrong. But look at traits like heightened sensory awareness, rapid decision-making, interspace focus, restless energy, high risk tolerance, and rapid pattern recognition. These are not flaws. These are the exact behavioral survival traits that kept the human species alive through ice ages, famines, and constant threats. These are your factory settings.
Your brain was designed to track prey and make life or death decisions before breakfast. And those natural survival instincts didn't just disappear when society invented grocery stores. They went underground. Today, they manifest as restlessness, impulse shopping, or the sheer inability to sit still in a meeting. Society hastily labels that a disorder, but medically speaking, it is simply a mismatch.
That brings us to part 4, why the reframe matters.
Changing our perspective here isn't just some philosophical exercise. It is practically essential for a successful treatment plan. How you understand your own brain shapes absolutely everything else in your life. If you adopt the "I'm broken" mindset, you're going to spend your life trying to fix the wrong thing, white-knuckling your way through environments that were never meant for you, mistaking natural friction for personal failure. But when you adopt the "I'm mismatched" mindset, understanding you're running an ancient operating system, the whole picture changes.
You stop trying to become someone you aren't, and you start designing your life around how your brain actually works, focusing on engagement, movement, and interest. While clinical treatments like medication are highly effective, understanding this framework is what makes managing your daily life actually sustainable.
This evolutionary wiring is the foundation for everything. Before you can truly manage ADHD at work, or in relationships, or as a parent, you have to understand the underlying biology. It requires digging into foundational questions. Where does ADHD actually come from? Is it genetics, or is it the world we live in? Why does interest matter so much? What advantages did our ancestors have, and why is dopamine the engine behind all of this behavior?
Finally, Part 5, Coming Home to Your Wiring.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to establish a clinical but deeply reassuring truth about your biology. To summarize the core of evolutionary mismatch, there is nothing wrong with you. You have a brain built for a different world, living in a world it was never designed for. Acknowledging this isn't just finding a workaround, it is the first critical step to coming home to your true self.
So, I want to leave you with a question to think about. Does this pattern feel familiar to you? If something we've covered today hit home, that isn't a coincidence. It's recognition. If this evolutionary framework brings you a sense of clarity, we highly encourage you to take action. You can take our quick, 5-minute, no-sign-up ADHD quiz right now to see if your feelings fit the clinical pattern, or you can book a comprehensive evaluation for yourself or your child. Don't spend another day fighting your factory settings. Seek the clarity you absolutely deserve.